Hello students, in continuation of our last video, today we will take up the comprehension passage from chapter 6th titled Indian Women and the Salt Satyagraha. The first question is, give two reasons why the salt satyagraha was popular with women. The two reasons that can be given for the salt satyagraha, which became popular with women, was that first, it was the first chance they were getting to get involved directly in the freedom fight. And second is the reason that salt is that inseparable and essential element which the women deal with in their daily kitchen or in cooking. So it was very important and unique reason that the salt satyagraha became popular with women. Was Gandhiji willing to have women as participants in the movement? No, Gandhiji was not willing to have women as participants in the movement. Who sent him a letter? The letter was sent to Gandhi by Mrs. Cousins. That is, her full name was Margaret Cousins. She was a woman of Irish birth and she had gone through imprisonment in Dublin because she had demonstrated in favor of female franchise. She was working in India for Indian women's cause. Fourth is, what was the anomaly in Gandhiji's attitude? The anomaly which seemed in Gandhiji's attitude was that he was unwilling to involve women directly in the Indian freedom fight, whereas he gave control of his ashram into the hands of women while he was not there. So he depended on women for looking after the household or the care of his ashram, and he knew very well that they could manage it, but he was not willing to directly involve them in the freedom fight. Where did the writer meet Gandhiji to seek a clarification? The writer Kamla Chattopadhyay met Gandhiji on his walk to Dandi when he was staying in a village for a night halt. Why does the writer say that the very simplicity of the women was as appealing and as intriguing? It was as appealing as surprising or intriguing because the women would come out of their households and involve in the salt satyagraha movement. So it dealt with women and it was very simple weapon. How was it tailor made for women? It was tailor made or it fitted women because salt is that element which is a matter of concern for women in every household. They need salt in their cooking items. Without salt, they cannot do anything. So it fitted them the most. The next question asked is, why was it difficult for the British Army to tackle this movement? It was difficult for the British Army to tackle this movement because it had become the movement of the masses at large. Men, women, children All were involved, and from each and every house they came out with water pots, brought water from the sea, and in this way they defied or they challenged the salt law and started preparing salt at home. So it became difficult for the British Army to arrest or to march, take action against the women and children who were involved first time in this movement. Ninth is, how had the revolt entered every home? The revolt had entered every home because the women as well as the children, they marched to carry water in their water pots and brought home and started preparing salt, because salt is that essential item which is needed in every household, and it was for the first time that multitudes of women and children came out of their houses or household. How can one judge the birth of freedom? One can judge the birth of freedom from the hesitation or the fear which they overcome. It is the first sign of freedom that they come out of their fears or their hesitations and protest in public. State whether the following statements are true or false. The first one is, freedom could only be given by the rulers. It is a false statement because we come to know that from this chapter the rulers were not ready to give them freedom. They would have to snatch or fight for their freedom. Second is, Gandhiji was unwilling to have women in the political direct action programs at that stage. True, Gandhiji had other things in his mind related with women. He knew that it would be difficult for them if they were imprisoned or they were punished for violating the laws. Third is, the writer asked Gandhiji to make a special appeal to women. This is true. The writer, that is Kamala Chattopadhyay, she meets Gandhiji during one of his march towards Dandi, and she wants Gandhiji to make a special appeal to women in order to involve in the salt satyagraha. Fourth is, Gandhiji was not sure that the women would join the movement. It's true. Fifth is, little kids carry big water pots. No, this sentence is incorrect because little children, they carried small, very small water pots and not the big ones. The big water pots were carried by either women or men.